What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. It's your boy Ango. Super glad you guys could be joining me. We are live after WWE RAW. WWE had a really good episode of WWE RAW, so we're going to talk about it on today's live stream. Hopefully you guys are all having a great night. Chat commands are down below here on the stream. So yeah, pretty much if you guys want to, I don't know, you guys want to join the Discord or something, you could pretty much just use those chat commands. The link will pop up in the live chat and all that good stuff. Hopefully you guys are all having a great night. If you want to support this channel, go ahead and consider dropping a super chat, or you could donate on my website at ango.live. Whatever you prefer. We'll make sure we get your questions answered and everything like that, obviously. Hopefully the quality and everything is working. We're still testing out StreamYard. We did a live stream in the morning. That was pretty cool. So yeah, hopefully everything is working. Let's see. I got Discord notifications going off. Okay, not a big deal. Hopefully everybody's having a good night. Let's bring up some of the questions. We'll talk about some stuff, obviously, in tonight's live stream. Justin Kennington, shout out to Justin Kennington. He's one of the members on this channel. He says, hey, Ango, hot take. I believe Theory loses the U.S. title at Chamber, and his match versus Cena will not be for the title. That would be the right choice, in my opinion, Justin. I would definitely think that's the right idea. Nothing against Austin Theory, but Theory versus Cena does not have to have the U.S. title. Plus, as you guys saw tonight with WWE RAW, we have the Chamber. Bronson Reed's going to be in it. That's very interesting. Johnny Gargano is going to be in it. That's very interesting. Seth Rollins is going to be in that match. Very interesting. I think this would be the right time to have a babyface carry the U.S. Championship. Now, who else will qualify for the match? That is what's intriguing to me. But if you watch this channel, I definitely like the idea, for sure, having the U.S. Championship being defended in the Elimination Chamber. That's actually pretty exciting to me. I think you could have a new winner, and then if you want, you could have John Cena make the challenge to Austin Theory or whatever. I mean, there's a million ways to do it, but if you want to set up that match, there's a lot of ways to do that. Definitely not a hot take, my friend. I think that's pretty reasonable. Adam says it looks like Cody is set in stone for WrestleMania for the undisputed Universal WWE title. But the question is, and I'd like to ask you, Ango, will Roman Reigns be defending the title at WrestleMania? Yeah, I mean, I think Roman Reigns for sure will beat Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber. And I actually like the idea, truth be told, I like the idea of Roman Reigns and Cody main eventing WrestleMania. If you guys watch WWE RAW tonight, then you know that Rhea Ripley has officially challenged Charlotte Flair, which is an interesting choice. I thought for sure they would have Rhea versus Bianca Belair. They decided not to do that. Not sure why. I don't feel like you could go wrong with that. But on the flip side, WWE did announce today, Adam Pearce actually announced that at Elimination Chamber, we're going to have a women's chamber match, and the winner will go on to face Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. We know Liv Morgan. We know Asuka, Piper Niven. So many people are going to be given this opportunity to become a women's champion. Very exciting. And props to, honestly, props to Adam Pearce. He seems to be the guy that is doing a really good job at like bringing logic and presenting logic. Honestly, like in a situation like that, like he's presenting logic in a way that makes sense for why decisions are being made. And, you know, hey, the final four women, Raquel and Liv and Asuka, right? Like these women who were in the final four of the Women's Royal Rumble, they automatically qualify for the chamber. And I like that. It's a cool thing to keep the logic going and justifying the decisions. And I appreciate that a lot. What's up, Tattoo Nick? Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you, brother. Same thing to you, Big Hero Chris. What's up, guys? A lot of people in the chat, so I'll try to get your questions and I'll try to answer your questions and everything like that. If you guys haven't clicked that like button, can you guys do that for me? We have a couple hundred people in here, I think. And yeah, I really appreciate if you guys click thumbs up. That would mean a lot. Let's see. We got a super chat from Albert Pons for $5. With both members competing for a spot, do we see a Street Profits split? And please, that women's match will be fire. So many competitors in that match. Shout out to Albert for the super chat. Yeah, I actually agree. What's going on here is okay. I just want to make sure we're still live. For a second, I thought we were disconnected. Yeah, I mean, I think I can't remember exactly who Dawkins was going to face. I can't remember the exact name of who he was competing against, but Montez Ford should win his match. I think Dawkins should lose. I think it's Dawkins versus Priest. I would have Damian Priest beat Dawkins. I would have Montez Ford go into the chamber match. I don't think it should lead to a split. But also at the same time, too, Rick Boogs is going to face off against Elias to potentially be in the match as well. That's going to be a qualifying match. So if I'm WWE, I mean, I think you don't have to do a split here, but you just want both guys to look good. And then obviously Damian Priest is part of Judgment Day, so it's really important that Judgment Day looks strong as well. But if I'm WWE, I mean, I think it's a good idea to have them do singles matches from time to time. They're a tag team. If you're going to do the split, make it a big deal, right? That's one thing AEW has done really good is like whenever somebody splits from their partner or from their faction or whatever, they kind of build it up, right? They did that really well with Wardlow and MJF through so much time. You know, we kind of have seen like a build for the split. And I think if WWE will in fact do that with Street Profits, they've definitely teased it at times, but then they've never really like committed to it. So if they choose to go that route, they have to really build momentum for it. But both guys are really good, man. And I don't know if I want to see them as a singles competitor just yet. I think there's still a little bit of time. Shout out to Albert Pons for the super chat. Appreciate you, brother. A lot of people in the chat. Chris says, Ango, who do you see being the sixth woman in the chamber? Do you think Naomi, since Orlando is her hometown? You never know. But I'm pretty sure the chamber match is actually in where the chamber pay-per-view is in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So I don't know what's going on there, but with Naomi, I mean, she's expected to be in WWE soon anyway, so we'll see how that goes. Also want to point out too, if we're talking about women's chamber match, Piper Niven, Asuka, Nikki Cross. I mean, there's so many people who I feel like could be a good feud for Bianca Belair, but I do want something new. We know Becky and Bayley are going to be competing in a steel cage match next week. I don't know exactly what the WrestleMania plans are there, but you know, Bianca, Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha, there was like for a really long time, the women's division was kind of built around them and Ronda Rousey. You know, now we got people like Raquel and so many others. Nikki Cross is doing a great job. Like there's so many others right now who could benefit from that spot. And you know, Bianca Belair is the baby face, and I think it's time to have her drop the belt. She had a great reign. Nothing against her. I think her reign's been fine. But I think it's time to just change things up again and keep things fresh. And I think Triple H has done a really good job with tonight's Raw. I'm shocked that Rhea Ripley is going to challenge. I'm shocked that Rhea Ripley is going to challenge Charlotte Flair, but also at the same time too, it's like 3 years in the making, maybe 2.5 years in the making. So there's something like that I think is like really significant, and I actually like that a lot. We got another super chat from Tattoo Nick for $9.99. Okay, my question is why? LOL. Why is the maximum male models eyeballing Otis? My friend, this is freaking awesome. Okay, I don't care what anybody says. I'm sure this is gonna piss people off, but I gotta be honest with you guys. I love it. So maximum male models have had this like little reality TV show type of series on YouTube, and they're looking for another model. And Maxine has kind of been teasing somebody, then they haven't revealed somebody. And the cool thing is, like Chad Gable, obviously he didn't qualify for the match. Seth Rollins qualified for the chamber, but Otis is walking with Chad Gable. You have Mansoor and Massey, both eyeball him, and they're just talking about how horrendous he is and how all this, you know, this guy's ugly, blah, blah, whatever. But Maxine, on the other hand, is like, no, this is perfect. And I'm just saying, I'm going to be honest. The reason why I love this is because I remembered how much I loved Otis and Mandy Rose. There was a dynamic there that was really special. And man, I feel like you, in a certain way, you have to split up Otis and Chad Gable at some point. Excuse me. At some point, you have to split them up. I don't expect Otis and Maximum Male Models to be a long-term thing, but again, you got to have comedy roles in WWE. You got to have things being done, you know, to entertain people, and you got to have the wrestling, and then you got to have the championship matches. You got to have the upper card, the mid card, the lower card. Like there should be a role for everyone. And the Maximum Male Models have been able to do that. I want to see more of it on TV. But Otis and Maximum Male Models could completely get over. How they go about it, I don't know. But I really think this is cool. And again, if you watch the series on the WWE YouTube channel, you would know what I'm talking about. It is so freaking entertaining. And I think the biggest regret is why it's not always on TV. They have a little bit of stuff on TV, but honestly, Nick, I just think the MMM group and Otis, like there's just going to be a dynamic there. It's comedy. And I think it's going to be the comedy that gets people over. I think people will enjoy it. And honestly, I think it's what Maximum Male Models need. They need working with somebody who people like, and people do like Otis. And I think that could be a really big win for WWE. Shout out to Tattoo Nick for the $9.99 super chat. Appreciate you, brother. We got another super chat from Albert Pons for $2. How does the Maximum Male Model bits online work but suck on TV? I don't think it sucks on TV. I just think on YouTube, you know, you can do a 10-minute episode. On WWE, you can't do that, like on WWE television. But it could lead to something good. You know what I mean? Like people are starting to really enjoy it because you see it on YouTube, then you see them on TV. You just kind of get a glimpse of who they are and how they are. And I think one thing that a lot of people need to realize is like, not everything will translate to TV, but if wrestling fans are informed of what's going on to a certain extent and they enjoy it, they will get behind it. And I think that's one of the things with Maximum Male Models. I think that's one of the things with Maximum Male Models. It's like, if you put it on TV every single week, people don't really understand it, right? But if you do a little bit of stuff on TV, a little bit of stuff on their individual social media, and then you do like a little series on YouTube, people get over on it. And I think that's one of the reasons why Being the Elite is also really good, because with Being the Elite, if you watch the vlogs that they do, there are certain things that happen on Being the Elite, and then it's on television. For those who watch it, they are informed, so they get excited about it. And I kind of think Maximum Male Models in a way is comparable. Thank you, Albert Ponce. Thank you, Tattoo Nick, for the super chats. Appreciate you, brothers. So many people in the chat right now. Guys, if you haven't clicked that like button, we at least at the very minimum have to get over 100 likes at the very minimum. So if you guys could do that, I'd greatly appreciate that. We got Justin Kennington with a $5 super chat. Since Cody could change the WWE title to the Winged Eagle belt, will WWE change the Universal title to the World Heavyweight Championship? This is a wonderful question. This is actually something that hasn't been discussed in terms of reports. I haven't seen any rumors. I haven't talked to anybody who's indicated that WWE will change the Universal Championship belt. I do think at some point, and the rumor like 7 months ago, when Triple H took over, the rumor was that Triple H wanted all the WWE Championship belts to be changed. They have certain title belts that are sitting in the warehouse that haven't been used yet, and it's just a matter of timing and stuff. I think whatever we see in terms of title belt changes will end up happening after WrestleMania. I think we're going to see WWE kind of do a pretty big reset at some point after WrestleMania. But I think the WWE title being a modern version of the Winged Eagle, this is something, and it's crazy because I see Dirt Sheets reporting it today, but this is something I've been talking about for a long time, and it's going to come to fruition at some point. There's going to be a change in these championship belts, but it's not going to be that soon. You know what I mean? And I think personally, like, the Winged Eagle is a really dope belt. You have to modernize it a little bit, and I think WWE will do something cool. I think Triple H has a huge respect for pro wrestling and, good-looking title belts, so that's going to be massive. But I also really, really, really want to make it clear, too. If you aren't going to change the Universal Championship belt, I think at the very minimum, you need to change the other belts. The U.S. title and the Intercontinental title are fine, but like the Women's Championship belts, I feel like need to be changed. I think if you're WWE, you can change all of them. You know what I mean? I think all of them should kind of have a similar vibe, a similar look, but also different. The women's championship for Raw and SmackDown, like I'm okay with a blue strap and a red strap, but change the design. If you're going to change the Universal Championship and the WWE Championship, you can do colored straps for the Universal Championship, but change the main plate, change some of the details behind it. And I think that would be the right decision. The Intercontinental Championship and the US Championship, I actually like both of those belt designs, but if you're going to change that, I think at that point you have to make a very aggressive change, or, let's go and do if you're going to make minimal changes, I think at that point you do something more along with the strap, if that makes sense. But the winged eagle belt would be ideal for the WWE Championship, and we'll see. Again, it's not going to be an exact redo of it. It's going to be inspired by it, but it would be revised and more modernized. Now, what does that actually mean? I don't know, but the idea works in my opinion. Shout out to Justin Kennington for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, brother. Guys, again, nice big reminder. If you guys want to support the channel, consider dropping a super chat or donate on my website at ango.live. I would greatly appreciate that if you guys want to support the channel. If you don't want to, you don't have to. The best way to support is definitely by sharing and liking and, just engaging in the chat. So that would be greatly appreciated. But with that being said, we're going to go back into the comments. A lot of people are out here talking. Michael Harity says, why is Karrion Kross being ruined? This is a great question. I definitely want to address this, but tonight we're talking about Raw. So we'll address that maybe tomorrow morning's live stream. Come through in the morning and drop that comment and I'll try to get to it. Adam says, why can't Lashley and Lesnar be in the US title elimination chamber match? This is a wonderful question. They don't need to be. I think their match needs to be, their match doesn't need to be for a championship. And ultimately, you need the Hurt Business to come back. Obviously, WWE continues to tease it. There's obviously a story going on with MVP and Bobby Lashley, as we saw on Raw. If I'm WWE, I think they don't need to be going for the US title. This is a great match. I mean, look, Johnny Gargano and Bronson Reed are two guys that definitely need to be in that match. They definitely need to have that spotlight. If I'm WWE, these two names are already so big and they're already so popular amongst WWE fans. If I'm the WWE, don't have this match for the title. Don't get them involved with the title. This story is bigger than the title. In my opinion, that's how I feel. So I'm okay with it not being involved for the US title. Hopefully it ends up with the Hurt Business coming back, obviously. And then I think that's what WWE is going to do is bring back the Hurt Business and help Lashley get over Lesnar. And that's a really good way to put over somebody, but also at the same time too, it justifies Lesnar losing. Lesnar doesn't look weak if you see Omos and everybody come after him. I think that's the way to go about it, in my personal opinion. Dragon Den says, at Ango, is it possible that WWE would do Seth versus Logan for the US Championship because they know they could get a lot of heat with Logan Paul? This is a good question that could very well happen, right? If Theory drops the belt at Elimination Chamber and then potentially versus Cena, you can always have Seth win the US title and Logan Paul converse him for the title. But at that point, and this is just my opinion, and I know a lot of people won't agree, but Logan Paul carrying the US Championship would be great if he's actively defending it because he's such a big name outside of WWE. But if he wins the championship and he's working part-time, if he's not defending the championship, if he's not doing what Theory and Rollins and Lashley have done with the US title, it's not really going to make sense. But I also think Seth and Bobby Lashley have been way too involved with the US championship. So this is why I like the idea of Gargano or Bronson Reed being in the match. Will WWE shock the world and give it to somebody different? I hope they do. You never know. Triple H loves those NXT guys, and I think we're going to start seeing that. So that would be really nice. How they go about that, though, I don't know. For all I know, you can have Theory retain, and that would be really interesting as well. Theory retaining, though, in my opinion, it's not a bad idea. But if you want him to drop the belt, if he lost to 5 other people, the reality is this. He doesn't look weak. He could be screwed. He doesn't have to look weak whatsoever. And I think that's kind of important if you're WWE. So just try to keep that in mind if he does lose the belt. It's not like he's buried or anything. But also at the same time, too, if he goes into WrestleMania as US champion and versus Cena and successfully defends it against Cena, that's also as that's a pretty big deal as well. So just kind of keep that in mind. Adam says, if the U.S. title is defended inside the Elimination Chamber, why can't the Intercontinental title be in the Chamber match as well? I think this is a good question. Well, me personally, we don't know. WWE hasn't been on SmackDown. Like, we haven't been to SmackDown. For all we know, this could be the year where we have 3 Elimination Chamber matches. That could be possible. However, here's the differences. I'm not justifying WWE's decision. I'm not saying this is right or wrong. This is just kind of my opinion and how I see it. If Theory is competing in the Elimination Chamber, right, and he's got 5 other competitors who definitely need to be involved in that match, they definitely need the spotlight. Some of that spotlight comes off of Theory, right? Because he's sharing the ring with 5 other people. If Bronson Reed or Gargano, for example, have a really good showing, they're going to get a lot of attention. Some of that attention comes off of Theory, and it benefits other people. If if Gunther has a 6-man Elimination Chamber match for the Intercontinental Championship, well, Gunther has been built up so incredibly strong where right now I think it makes more sense for him to defend the belt in a triple threat match or a singles match. Guys like Drew McIntyre or Sheamus obviously ring a bell. But I think, me personally, I think Gunther should go into Elimination Chamber, have a singles match or a triple threat match, and I feel like there would be more attention on him for defending the belt. And I don't think Theory needs that because Theory could go into WrestleMania against Cena, which is already a massive deal as it is. But with Gunther right now, I think this is one of those situations where more attention on him is a better thing for him and for wrestling. We also seen Gunther have such an incredible performance at Royal Rumble. Wrestling fans are behind him. And it looks like that casual audience has also gotten behind him, which is a big deal. So me personally, I think that's why there's a difference between the two. Theory doesn't need all the attention on him at Elimination Chamber because obviously that Cena match is massive. But there's a lot of intrigue to me there, honestly. There is a lot of intrigue to me. We'll see. For all we know, WWE can announce Gunther in the Intercontinental Championship match at Chamber. I wouldn't go that route. I would like to see him get the spotlight. We saw him versus Sheamus at Clash at the Castle or whatever it was, and the dude had a freaking banger of a match. I mean, literally match of the year, match of the decade. Like, there's a lot of praise for that match. So, in my opinion, that's kind of the reason why I would go that route. Camden Culver says, did you see Cody's entrance for 2K23? I did, absolutely. I've tweeted it out on Twitter. I absolutely love it. I'm super excited about that game. If you guys don't know about that, a lot of people actually don't know, but you can go on my second channel. That's where I actually just threw it up on the chat. But I actually cover WWE 2K stuff on a second channel. So if you guys are interested in that, go ahead and check out that link. It's in the chat. Also should be in the description as well. Dragon King says, I think the tag division isn't doing that well, but what is your thoughts? This is a good question. It's hit or miss. It's not perfect by any means, but also at the same time too, there's a current storyline that exists within the tag team division that makes it difficult for other tag teams. I think once the Usos drop the belts, I think everything will be fine. And again, the Bloodline storyline, I think personally takes way more priority over everything else. But once the Usos drop the belts, I think you already have so many established teams. You have Sheamus, you have Drew, you have Imperium, you have Ridge Holland and Butch. You have so many great tag teams there. You have, the Viking Raiders, you have Hit Row, you have Los Lotharios, you have Legado del Fantasma. There's just such an incredible amount of tag teams in WWE. But right now, the tag team championships are kind of on hold. So it's not that the tag team division is bad. It's just the focus really isn't there per se. But everything else, right? The Intercontinental title, the US title mean more than it's ever before. Cody Rhodes returned today. I mean, and by the way, Cody Rhodes returning on Raw, I just felt massive. It felt like he was missed. He felt like a big deal. And forget about Roman Reigns. That's why Cody coming back was such a big deal, because he literally feels like a big deal as part of the show, even without the world champion being there. So it's not that the tag team division is bad, but also at the same time too, it's just really important to mention that, truth be told, within time, it'll get better. Devontae Sweat says, any update on Matt Cardona? This is a good question. We saw Chelsea Green tonight. Chelsea Green, I think, is really good for this Karen role. I think she's going to absolutely kill it with this gimmick. Going up to Adam Pearce, hey, are you the manager? Like all this different shit. It's like so funny to me, and a lot of people are like, oh, she's getting buried. She got eliminated. She got the fastest elimination. Chelsea Green is going to do so well with this gimmick. And she's going to get so over with this gimmick. She's going to be booed and get so much heat. And the good thing is, she doesn't have to be competing for a championship, which is what I believe should be the case in wrestling. If you're not competing for a championship, you should at least be given a storyline and gimmick that gets the ability to go over. Chelsea Green is going to kill it in this role. But I also want to point out, Devontae, when it comes to Matt Cardona, the rumor is he signed with WWE. Sources came out and said that he signed with WWE. When are they going to bring him back? That is something I don't know. And you can always tie that into Chelsea Green if you want. Chelsea Green is the manager. When she has an issue with Adam Pearce, she can be like, hey, well, like, I'm going to call my husband on you. And then next thing you know, Matt Cardona could show up because that's what Karens do. Karens act like Karens. So there's a lot of opportunity there. I don't know exactly the route that they're going to go, but it is definitely intriguing to me for sure. Albert says, Ango, are you going live on the Jericho Cruise? LOL, this year is looking sick. I actually haven't paid attention to anything on the Jericho Cruise. Probably won't go to it. But deep down inside, I think I'm going to go to WrestleMania. I think that's the plan. So if you guys are going to WrestleMania, hit me up in Discord. We could try to figure things out. But I want to go to WrestleMania. I've never been to LA. I've never been to California in general. So it would be a really cool trip. And that would be pretty exciting. Adam also said, Cardona's doing an NWA pay-per-view on February 11th. At enough said. Yeah, so he is expected to go to WWE, but he has other things that have been pretty much like booked, right? Different dates and stuff. So he'll have to do those first, more than likely. Camden also says Asuka's new character is awesome. So we saw the return of Carmella tonight. Asuka actually comes out and she's just smiling. She doesn't have the face paint and she's just smiling, and then boom, the mist is leaking from her mouth. She doesn't have to cut a promo. She doesn't have to say anything. She just looks great. She's completely over. Personally speaking, I think Asuka should be the one to face off against Bianca Belair. She's the one who should get the championship. And I'm all about it, to be honest. I think it makes a lot of sense for WWE to go that route. Asuka's incredible. And for me personally, I just think Asuka would be my favorite to hold the championship. But you never know. WWE is doing a lot of surprises. WWE is doing a lot of stuff right now that makes me intrigued, and we'll kind of see what they do. Let's see. Dragon Den says, Chelsea Green could have nuclear heat with the Karen thing, Vicky Guerrero level heat of annoyance. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much the importance of it, right? Like when you really, really think about it, like think about the actual character itself. Who likes a Karen, in real life, like nobody does. And Chelsea Green just plays the character so well. I mean, literally we saw tonight and she was making these requests and these demands, and she could wrestle and she can do all the character stuff. Guys, I don't know how many times I got to stress the importance of it. Characters matter. You got to have characters in wrestling. And, again, she's not competing for a world championship. So if you're not competing for a championship, how do you manage to be on TV? Well, if you have a good character, whether you're wrestling every week or not, at least you're on TV and you're getting the chance to be exposed to the fans. And a lot of people don't know who she is. So the cool thing is, nobody really knows who she is, and she's going to be a Karen. So people are just going to get so annoyed, and people are going to boo, and they're going to scream at her, and they're going to get mad at her. But that is the type of thing that's going to work when eventually she does get her way. And then eventually when she does go for a women's championship and she wins, people are going to hate her so much that she's going to get booed, that whoever the baby face is that eventually takes the belt from her, I mean, they're over, right? There's going to be a big push behind that person. So there's a lot of great things that you can do with this character. And it doesn't have to happen right away. And I think wrestling fans just need to remember this, because they do tend to forget. It doesn't have to happen overnight. Character development, storytelling then leads to some big stuff. And then a year from now, if she ends up becoming a champion, the babyface who ends up taking the belt benefits from it. So I'm super excited. Chelsea Green is awesome. She's a great talent. And despite the fact that she has me blocked on Twitter for whatever reason, I don't know, 10 years later, I'm still blocked. I still think she's great. And I think Matt Cardona is great. And I hope at some point, if he does come to WWE, they're together. And again, the idea of Karen, complaining, oh, well, I'm going to get my husband to kick your ass, like something like that could be really cool. Matt Cardona could come in. There's just a lot of cool things you can do. And cool, she's back in WWE and she's getting the bag and she's making money and she's going to be on TV. So I'm all for it. I definitely agree with it. She can definitely have nuclear heat, and I think it's going to definitely work. And one thing too is like, just to kind of keep this in mind, because it is characters and storytelling, she doesn't even have to be on Raw. She could go to SmackDown. Like if she sees that she's not getting booked on Raw, or she's constantly not getting booked, hey, I'm going to SmackDown. Like she can go to NXT. She could go to SmackDown. She could go to Raw. She can take over WWE social media. Like literally, because she's a Karen and she's not getting her way, who knows the lengths that she'll go to get her way. And I think that's really cool. You can utilize this character through multiple shows and multiple outlets, and that's definitely going to piss people off, and it's definitely going to annoy people. And I think that is huge, and I think that's fun, and that excites me. Asuka should definitely beat Bianca. Yeah, I mean, at that point, if you're really going to push Asuka's new character, she's evil, she's back to her Kana roots, I would definitely have her beat Bianca as well. Who's your favorite wrestler right now, men and women in WWE? I mean, it's so hard because there's so many people that I like. But I mean, if you follow this channel, you know that I'm a huge Cody Rhodes fan. I was a huge fan of Cody Rhodes back in the day. I was a huge fan of Cody Rhodes in AEW. I'm a huge fan of Cody Rhodes in WWE. But I'm also really, 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 really happy with the work that Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns. I mean, you can't pick one person though. You cannot pick one person. I can't personally. For women, I think Rhea Ripley is doing incredible. I'd really like to see Piper Niven a little bit more because I really liked her work in NXT UK. So there's a couple of things that I like. Not saying she's my favorite, but I'm just saying she's really good. There's things I like about her. I like a lot of talent in WWE. Regardless of booking, there's just some really great people in NXT as well. There's so many people. So I don't really have a favorite wrestler, to be honest. I like a lot of people. I don't really hate too many people. I think a lot of people are good. It's just a matter of getting booked. Bronson Reed squashed The Miz tonight. I really like Bronson Reed. I thought that was a good showing. I want more from Bronson Reed. You put him in the Elimination Chamber, a lot of people are going to be impressed with this guy. I'm sure he's going to have a couple nice spots and people are going to enjoy it. So there's things about WWE. It's hard for me to literally talk about one wrestler specifically. I like different wrestlers for different things. Some of them might be their promos. Like Rick Boogs came back tonight. And like, I don't care for the air guitar and shit, that he does, but like, I see Rick Boogs and I'm just like, man, this guy oozes charisma and he's a good wrestler and he's got a good character. Maybe there's certain things about him I don't like, but there's a lot of things I do like. Is he my favorite? No, but I enjoy watching him, right? Some people might not agree, but that's the thing about WWE. There's just so many talented people. I really enjoy it. Gunther, really, 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 really talented. One of my favorites. Sheamus is actually somebody I didn't really care for in years past. I felt like his work kind of got stale. But in the last year, I felt like, wow, Sheamus has been absolutely incredible. So again, it's really difficult to answer that question, but a lot of great talent there. Bobby Lashley, of course, one of my favorites. He's been one of my favorites for a very, very long time. I love the New Day. I love Big E. I like the Street Profits. I like Akira Tozawa, and it's like funny because he's not really in a big role, but there's just a lot of people I like in WWE. It's hard to answer that question. Byron Cutler says, do you like Finn Balor? Absolutely. I love the main event tonight, by the way. Finn Balor versus Cody Rhodes. We saw Edge and Beth Phoenix take out the Judgment Day. Cody Rhodes did 3 of his finisher moves. What the hell is it called? Crossroads. He did 3 of them. He took advantage of the distraction. He beat Finn Balor. Finn Balor's pretty protected here. Cody Rhodes gets the win. Love the main event. I love Finn Balor. I love the Judgment Day. I'm absolutely loving Dominik Mysterio as well. So there's a lot of things I like about this, you know what I mean? And I'm kind of excited about that. Let's see. We got more. Oh, Bray Wyatt too. I can't forget about Bray. I love Bray. Let's see. Coach says Gunther Theory, Logan Paul, and Braun Breaker are the future of WWE, and I'm excited for the future. I think that's really important too. Is like the future of WWE is bright, honestly. You got NXT, you got people being developed, you got a lot of things happening. You know what I mean? So when you look at the women's division in NXT, they got a lot of people. I love Alba Fire. I like Roxanne. I like Cora Jade. There's just a lot of people that I enjoy in WWE. So again, it's hard to pick one person. There's a lot of things I like about a lot of people. Now, how certain people are booked in other cases could be where maybe I say, okay, I don't like this. But from like an individual standpoint, bad booking is one thing, but the people that are in the ring, typically they're all really, really solid. So very interesting stuff there. We got a super chat from Albert Ponce for $5. He says, does JD go with Rhea to SmackDown when she wins the title? Can they continue without her? I feel she's more the leader than Finn. No knock on him. I don't know. This is a good question. If Rhea went to SmackDown, does the Judgment Day go with her? That's a really good question. I guess we'll see, right? It's really, really hard to say in this case, like what they would do, but they could, right? Like Rhea Ripley could go to SmackDown. The draft could happen right after WrestleMania, just hypothetically speaking, and then Judgment Day can get drafted to SmackDown. There's no reason for Judgment Day to stay on Raw. Like they definitely don't have to stay on Raw. But if they're going to go to SmackDown, then I would like to see Legado del Fantasma move to Raw. Just so that way there's not too many factions on SmackDown, because I feel like there's way more factions on SmackDown than there actually is on Raw. So I can see Judgment Day going to SmackDown, but I don't think it would be immediate. I think it would be more of like a, hey, wait till the WWE draft, which they can get away with that. But also too, I feel like when you mention the leadership portion, it's not so much like Judgment Day has a specific leader, to be honest. Like I don't look at this group as somebody that has a clear cut leader. I see a lot of affiliation between Dom and Rhea more than anything else. But also at the same time, too, they're really a group, right? Like anytime there's been an issue, they always have each other's back. So does it really matter who the leader is? I don't know. Finn Balor is a really great person in Judgment Day, and I think at some point he's going to leave Judgment Day. So if Finn Balor does leave the Judgment Day, you know, you could still keep Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley and Dom Mysterio. There's a lot of things you could do, is my point. And of course, we don't know if Bad Bunny's going to come to WWE this year, but there was rumors that Bad Bunny versus Dominik Mysterio will be a WrestleMania match. Obviously, there's ties between Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. So there's a lot of storytelling that could be done there. Really, only time will tell. Shout out to Albert Ponce for the $5 super chat. Guys, if you want to get in any more super chats, go ahead and do that now before the stream ends, because we're probably only going to be on for like just a few more minutes. A lot of content went out today, and there's some stuff that I got to get done, so that's why. But a lot more comments. Let's see. Ray Parker says Future is stacked with guys like Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, and young guys like Austin Theory who are already on the main roster. This right here is one of my favorite points that I like when people bring up, because Braun Breaker, Hayes, Grayson Waller, really awesome talent, honestly. Like I'm really happy to see some of the stuff that they've done. And you know, it's important that WWE continues developing talent like that, because who is the next John Cena? Who is the next Randy Orton? Who is the next Edge? Who is the next Shawn Michaels? These are important questions to ask. And you have people on the main roster who could be that next guy. But when you look at NXT, there's so many. There are so many talented people. At some point, they can get that opportunity. And that does absolutely excite me. Grayson Waller, by the way, I'm hoping actually wins the NXT championship this Saturday, I'm sorry, for the, what is it? Pay-per-view. What the hell is it called? Vengeance Day. So we'll see what happens with that. By the way, we'll do a live stream for that too. So if you guys are excited about that, make sure you come through. Hey, Ango, what about Edge versus Finn at Mania inside Hell in a Cell? That's the rumor. That's the rumor. We'll see if that happens. It was supposed to originally happen at Rumble, but WWE views this as a bigger match, potentially at WrestleMania. The belief is that they do want a very big gimmick match at WrestleMania. This would be one I totally welcome. It's one that makes a lot of sense. And I think, honestly, when you really think about it too, if WWE does Edge versus Finn at Hell in a Cell in Mania, like, people will go crazy for it, but it's also going to stress the importance of Hell in a Cell as a gimmick match not a pay-per-view. And I hope that is something that people remember, because I'm just being honest here. Like with Edge and Finn, this has been a long storyline. And on top of that, we know Hell in a Cell pay-per-view is going away. So it's a long-term storyline. It's a big storyline. Edge and Finn are beating the shit out of each other. Put it at Hell in a Cell. People will view Hell in a Cell far more valuable than ever before. And I think that's really important for WWE. We got a super chat from Zachary for $4.99. Zachary says, Rhea going to SmackDown helps set up the Dominik and Rey match for WrestleMania. It's logical. Mommy brought her Latino heat to SmackDown with her, and he attacks his dad. This could very well happen. Now, the rumor was that Dominik Mysterio was only going to face Rey Mysterio when Rey Mysterio was ready to retire. Is Rey Mysterio ready to retire at this year's WrestleMania? Or do they go against that? I think this is a really good point. I love this. I think Rhea going to SmackDown definitely helps bring back the things, the storyline portion of it all. If I'm WWE, I don't want to see this match happen just yet, but mainly because I feel like you could just extend this story for a very, very long time. But if they choose to do that, I'm totally cool with it. But the rumor is that Dominik Mysterio was going to compete against Bad Bunny. Maybe what I would do this year is have, honestly, if you really want, you could have Dominik Mysterio and Damian Priest versus Bad Bunny and Rey Mysterio. I know some people might not like that idea, but if Rey Mysterio isn't retiring at all, don't do that singles match just yet. Do the singles match when Rey Mysterio is ready to retire. And then if you want to give the mask to Dominik Mysterio or whatever you want to do that at WrestleMania 40, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I think anything could happen here. I think this is a really good point, but it is very, very logical. And I would not be mad if they did this at all. Thank you, Zachary, for the super chat. Appreciate you, brother. Albert Pond says, hey, maybe Impact stream Thursday night or Friday afternoon. Hey, you never know. We'll take a look. We'll see. This morning, we did a live stream, and that was really cool. It was at like 11 o'clock or so. We had like 400 viewers. I want to keep doing stuff like that during the day too, because it's fun just talking wrestling with you guys and reading comments and answering questions. So maybe we could do that for Impact as well. We don't need Prince Mysterio. We need Dominic Guerrero. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know about that. I like the idea of Prince Mysterio, personally speaking, but we'll see. A lot of great comments tonight, guys. Don't forget Cody Rhodes challenging Roman Reigns, Rhea Ripley challenging Charlotte Flair. A lot of big things happen on tonight's episode of Raw. I'm super ecstatic about it. I want to know what you guys think. If you guys aren't following me on Twitter, or if you guys aren't in the Discord, make sure you guys definitely check it out. And if you guys do want to support the channel, just remember you could go ahead and drop a super chat or donate on my website, ango.live. This would be the time to do so before we get off. Yeah, if you guys want to do anything last minute, now would be the time to do it before we get off. My bad. I'm just trying to read comments. I'm getting text messages from Discord or whatever. I'm getting the notifications. Tattoo Nick says Discord rocks. I agree. If you guys aren't in the Discord, let me throw that in the chat right here. So you guys could join the Discord. Definitely recommend it because Discord is really cool. I love talking wrestling with you guys there. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all there is to it. So any last minute super chats, go ahead and get those in. Otherwise, we're going to call it a night. Don't forget the Discord. Talk wrestling and share memes with hundreds of pro wrestling fans like you on our official Discord server. Definitely don't pass up on that opportunity because Discord's cool, man. There's a lot of wrestling fans in there. It's just really enjoyable. I see some chat in the I see some stuff in the Discord, not Discord, I'm sorry, in the YouTube chat about Joe Gacy and Bray Wyatt. Schism has completely changed from what it was before. So just kind of keep that in mind. Schism's a little bit different now. So it's not necessarily the same thing as Bray Wyatt. Where, when Joe Gacy was with Parker Boudreaux, that's when it was like really strange. But yeah, other than that, my friends, I think that's it then. I think we're going to call it a night. I appreciate everybody for stopping by. If you haven't clicked that like button, just go ahead and stone cold stun the shit out of that like button for me, because that'd be like really dope. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate y'all. And later.